Hey, it's Sam. I have a quick little lesson here about the sun, moon, and earth in astrology. Hey, it's Sam. I have a quick little lesson here about the sun, moon, and earth in astrology, in particular the process of emotional integration and how the moon works as going between the limited experiences, which is felt through the body, mind, structure, and seen through the ascendant, and the sun, the universal self, the Paramatman, or the supreme self. So the moon, so behind me I have this diagram, and you see that we have the earth. This is the earth, represented as the earth, and the ascendant is the earth, which is the moment you were born. The moment you were born is the moment you were put on the wheel of time. And I say the moment you were born, meaning the moment your body was born, the moment your physical incarnation happened. And I'm making a distinction of this because, amazingly enough, in astrology, there's still often this whole concept that, well, maybe we're not actual spiritual beings and all this. Who knows about all that? Well, I'm just going to say that's the premise from which I'm coming from. When we do astrology or when we do anything, it's about our life on Earth, in a physical body, in the world of time. That's really what astrology is measuring. Time that's moving forward, linear time, and events that happen in time, beings that grow and decay over time, and this whole measurement of time is what astrology is really about, at least on a practical level. That's one level. There are other realms where we don't necessarily have to conform to the structures of physical time through the physical body, like in the other realms, like the realm of the mind. We can go into the past, into the future, into different lifetimes. Of course, the realm of the soul is also that way. It's eternal and timeless. But just to be very clear, our incarnation as a being with a physical body that is born and that lives a life and then that dies, whose body dies, is that moment is seen from the ascendant. The moment you were placed on the wheel of time shows that incarnation, the incarnation of that soul. And the way to look at it is very much like the sort of ocean. There's the metaphor of the ocean and the waves. Our life is like a wave, but we're connected to the ocean. We're actually the ocean. We're like the ocean of light, which is the soul. We're like the ocean of light, but let's say that it's a watery ocean. Each lifetime is like the wave gets born, and then the wave rises to its height in our life, and then the wave starts to crash and starts to fall, and eventually disappears back into the ocean. That's what our life is like. So that physical life, we look at it from the ascendant. And it actually has to do with our identity in this lifetime, our individual identity, our truthful identity. Not the ego, our truthful identity, who we really are in this lifetime, what we're truthfully here to express, and our experiences. And these are the same. Our experience is what forms our true identity. The first house is, in this case, or for this reason, a house of dharma, of wisdom, because our experience is our wisdom. What we've experienced is what we truly know. So this whole matrix of experience through the body, in form, in this lifetime, is shown by the ascendant. That's why we came here with the physical bodies, to have experiences. Now, we have a lot of ideas about why they are what they are. We have a lot of feelings and emotions about them that's related to the moon. And we have these feelings and emotions because they're trying to lead us to the sun, the soul nature. So the ascendant is our incarnation in this lifetime, the physical body, how it looks, and our individual identity and our experiences. This is one sphere of identity through the ascendant, and then the sun is the other sphere of identity, the supreme self, the Paramatman, which is non-localized, non-experiential, non-physical, not confined by the realms of time. That universal being within that is non-localized, that doesn't have to be in a body in order to experience consciousness and presence. The eternal being is the sun. But it's not our eternal being, it's the oneness of all. There's only one sun, the Paramatman, the Supreme Self, is the same self of all. It's the same sun in me that's in you, in the eternal sense, the Paramatman, the Supreme Self, the non-localized physical being that's going to die, who has a separate identity. These two spheres of identity are what we're trying to do on Earth. We incarnate with a limited form to try to know our unlimited self. We incarnate in a finite form of time to try to understand our infinite and timeless self. Between these two spheres of identity is why we incarnate. Between these two is the moon, the mind, the heart. This is why we feel so crazy quite often, because the moon, or our heart, is going between these two spheres of existence, the infinite and the finite. I'm the infinite being, and part of me is always connected to the truth within, but yet all I can express through my level of understanding is this finite existence of likes and dislikes, good and bad, right and wrong, everything I know is going to end, all this separateness. And the moon is trying to dissolve all of that into the universal soul identity. And so the moon is really connected to our experiences in the moment and trying to orient them toward our infinite non-experiential self. So when we look at this in a more concrete way, we have the identity and experience of the body, we have the feeling and the consequent emotion of the heart, and then we have the supreme self of the sun. And so much of our life is this feeling, is through this agency of feeling. We have an experience, and then we have an inner environment, a feeling environment. That's what the moon is. That feeling environment is what it feels like to be alive. And this is, like the underpinning of, it's like the anchor of our actions and of so much in life, because at any time, if we don't feel like doing something again, now we just don't do it. The truth of the matter is, the only way to integrate these unintegrated experiences through form into the divine cosmic self is through the heart. There's only one feeling. There's only one true feeling, and that's love. Love is the only true feeling. There's a lot of emotions, but the source of all emotion is love. Positive or negative emotions. When I say love, I don't mean the love we usually have where we're like, oh yeah, I was in love, or I love this thing, or love that thing, or something out there that makes us feel love. Pure love is the love of the Buddha, the compassionate love that has no agenda, that has no emotion attached to it. It's a flow. It's a flow of peace and harmony between the moment and the eternal cosmic being within. And we feel that at times, and then we go outside of ourselves to look for something that we hope is going to give it to us, and this generates a lot of emotion because we're looking for that love. Is it here? No, it's not here. Maybe it's here. I'll get it here. It's not here, so I don't want that. Maybe it's here, so I want that. And these extremes come into our mind. Our anger, we're only angry at someone that we've loved before who we can't reconcile that with. We're only afraid of those who we think our love could hurt us. Or, if we saw people who were dangerous. The heart only understands love, and anything that's not love is painful. It's not just with our children or something that's possessive. That's through the agency of separateness. What happens is we create an identity around everything. We create an identity around all of our feelings. Every feeling has an identity. My feeling, my thing, this is mine. And this creates suffering. Because the mind is always trying to be dissolved toward the thine or the thou. And this happens through the moon. The moon is the part of us that wants to love everything equally. to love everything without fear. Because anytime we say, anytime we reject something emotionally because it's not flowing with that love, we know we're wrong on some level. As much as we try to convince ourselves, we know that it's an abomination on some level. And this is why it creates pain in us. If we were right, if we were certain that this person really is bad and this person, I really need to get away from them and they are bad, we wouldn't feel a negative emotion around it. It would just be like any other kind of thing where there's not that charge. When there's that negative emotional anger charge, it's because there was love there. And we know we're not flowing with that love. So love is the only way to integrate those experiences. Unfortunately, we've tried every other way and it hasn't worked. That's the only way. And so this is what the moon is doing. Taking these experiences through the body and dissolving them toward the cosmic oneness of the soul. The limited identity of the body and incarnation, and the wave mistaking itself to be the ocean. And the ocean itself. And really the metaphor of the ocean is very good, and the body as the wave. It's not even just the body is the wave, it's like the wave is conscious. The wave knows that its life is rising, it knows its life is going to end, and it knows it's not flowing in harmony with the ocean. It knows all this. So what do? Maybe something out here will do it, some teaching, some philosophy, something, some person, some this, that. This is the stress of the mind and the emotions. So I do these moon readings actually where I assess this in great detail, where I examine each person's moon and the things that show the psychological structure and process. It has to do with planets that are before the moon, with the moon, after the moon, which show the emotional process, the emotional attachments, the emotional story, the strong biases that we're really attached to. Because planets that interact with the moon just absorbs everything, like I said. The moon doesn't have any aggressive qualities. The moon has no assertive quality. The moon is all feeling and reflection and integration. This is what the moon wants, to integrate everything, to not reject anything, to not have its own agenda. The agenda of the moon is to integrate everything, just like water. You throw something in water, it doesn't say, oh, I don't like this, and throws it back out. It accommodates everything, just like love. Love accommodates all. True love accommodates all. Accommodates good, bad, whatever. True love, like let's say the love of a mother, is going to love the child no matter what the child does. Even if it grows up to be an axe murderer, the mother will still love the child. It's not going to reject ever, in a highest sense. This is the nature of the moon, is to accept everything. But we can't do that. And everything that we're rejecting or that we're attaching to something, because when we attach to something, we're rejecting something else. Like if you have planets around the moon, Venus around the moon is going to get strongly attached to things that are beautiful. I want it to be beautiful, nice, and if it's not, it's like, okay, I don't want that. And that rejection creates suffering. So you look at the planets around the moon to see the strong emotional biases, and then the planets and angles from the moon show structure, psychological structure, literally just like the supports in a room, just like the beams in a house. The angles show structure that allows our psychology to be supported. And so I assess these things in the moon reading, and also the sign and the house that it's in, and the nakshatra too, if it's appropriate. The other thing that I did is I taught an entire course on this, on how to do this astrologically. So if you're an astrology student or an astrologer, you would really want to get this course on moon yogas. It works for Western or Vedic astrology because it has to do with the spatial relationship of the planets to the moon. It's not about which zodiac or anything like that. It's an observable astronomical phenomena on the moon yogas. So it underpins this process. This is a really important process of life to understand even just the nature of life, how it works through the physical body, through the heart, and toward the Supreme Self. And the one that goes between all of that and tries to integrate that is the moon. And our feelings connected to the moment. We need to be flexible. We need to be sensitive to the moment. That's what the moon is about, is taking that dynamic moment and integrating it into the heart. The moon is the capacity to receive everything, and then to feel it, authentically, and then to integrate. To receive, feel, and integrate is the moon. Planets before the moon are what we have a tendency to receive. Planets with the moon are how we feel in real time. Planets after the moon show how we integrate. And then planets and angles from the moon show the support that lies underneath all of that process. So I go through this in a moon reading and also in a course on moon yoga. So check that out. I hope this was helpful. I hope this served you. And if you like this video, leave a comment, because people see my videos and, you know, I see hundreds, thousands and thousands of people watch it, and then there's like 3 comments. Come on. I'm making these because I want to help you and I want to shed some good light. Leave a comment and share it with people in your, email list, or on Facebook, or with your contacts if this helped you. So thanks a lot.